The Crumhorn and the Secret Love by Ronald Grimm. Chapter 1, Scene 3. A year had passed. Rowan laid the wood on his work table and turned it over in his hands, the same way he had every morning since he'd carried it back from the garden willow, soft and pliable, but unsuitable for most purposes. Any luthier worth his tools would have set it aside without a second glance. He reached for his charcoal. 20 inches if he was careful with his measurements. He marked the first line and his hand trembled. God's blood! He stopped. Breathe began again. He would need patience. She would have no tolerance for rushing. He laid his tools out one by one, reamers in graduated sizes, arranged smallest to largest, small chisels, each edge freshly honed, a fine sauce sandpaper in 4 grades from coarse to near silk, a funnel and a cloth sack of fine sand. He set his small brazier in the corner and fed it coals until the air above it shimmered with heat. Hours dissolved, his hands cramped. He paused only to flex his fingers, drink water, and flex them again. The curve. Everything hinged on this. He poured sand into the hollowed cylinder until it was packed solid, then sealed both ends. The sand would brace the wood from within. He positioned the sealed end over the brazier and rotated it in slow, steady turns, never stopping, never letting any single point linger above the coals. Steam rose from the wood in thin wisps as the moisture cooked out the willow began to give. He bent it, degree by careful degree, into the Crumhorn's distinctive upward curve. Twilight came and went. It was the hour he had once played for her. He didn't move from the table. He sat through the night and watched the wood dry, afraid to sleep and find it split or warped in the morning. Watching changed nothing. But he stayed anyway. It held. When gray light came through the window, he emptied the sand and fitted a reed from his personal collection. Attached the wind cap he'd carved from bamboo. He raised the Crumhorn to his lips. The first sound it made was a reedy squeal that sent him pulling it away from his mouth. He adjusted, tried again. Better. He worked through the scale, testing each finger hole in turn. Tuning would take days. This was only the beginning. But it breathed. The Crumhorn lived.
Rowan sourced walnut oil from an apothecary in the lower town, spinning a story about an experiment with willow wood that had cost him a full silver coin. He'd embellished the tale with a lightning strike that had nearly taken him with it. The apothecary had watched him with amusement. She was, after all, getting a free performance. Nothing but the best for his Crumhorn. The oil had darkened her wood, the pale grain deepening to something richer. Her voice changed with it. He played her for the king in the great hall. The king had tilted his head and called the tones strange but affecting, which was the most musical observation Rowan had ever heard him make. The courtiers murmured to each other behind their hands. He played her in taverns on market nights, and common folk stopped mid-conversation to listen, their faces going briefly elsewhere. He played her alone in his chamber, working through new compositions, hunting for songs that suited her particular voice. He never returned to the Eastern Garden. Rowan joined a consort that autumn, 4 musicians who gathered weekly in the palace's music room to play the old dances. 2 shawms, a sackbut, and now his Crumhorn weaving together in the reedy, buzzing harmonies that made the ancient pavanias come alive. During a particularly intricate galliard, when all 4 parts locked together, Rowan felt something shift her wood beneath his fingers. Warm. He nearly missed his entrance. When they finished, the sackbut player clapped him on the shoulder. That instrument has a fine voice, melancholy. But fine. Where did you acquire it? Rowan looked down at her, pale wood gleaming in the afternoon light. I made it, he said quietly from an old willow. Willow. The man's bushy eyebrows climbed toward his receding hairline. That's unusual. The years passed, the concert changed. Musicians aged, retired, were replaced by younger players with steadier hands and sharper ears. But Rowan remained, and the crumhorn remained, its voice unchanging even as his hair turned gray at the temples. Then silver throughout his fingers grew stiff.
The Crumhorn and the Secret Love by Ronald Grimm. Chapter 1, Scene 4. Rowan woke to find it missing. The Crumhorn, it had been on the table beside his bed, where it always was, where it had been for 40 years. His hands fumbled across the empty surface. Wood grain met his fingertips instead of the familiar curve of willow gone. Where is it? His voice came out barely more than a wheeze. Where? The attendant, what was her name? She appeared in the doorway with a breakfast tray. Steam rose from a bowl. Good morning, Master Rowan, I've brought my crumhorn! Where is my crumhorn? She blinked at him, the tray wobbling slightly in her hands. I'm sure it's here, sir. No! He pushed himself up from the bed, legs shaking beneath him. The floor felt unsteady. I need it. I need it now. He lurched past her into the corridor, one hand on the wall. The stone was cold beneath his palm. His chambers were in the old wing now, far from the great hall where he'd once performed. They moved him here years ago when stairs had become too difficult. Master Rowan, please. The girl followed. The tray clattered as she set it down somewhere behind him. You need to rest. He ignored her room by room. He searched his workroom. No, just dust motes dancing in morning light. His old tools arranged on shelves he hadn't touched in years. The parlor. No empty chairs faced each other across a cold hearth. Someone had moved it. Someone had taken it. Other attendants appeared, drawn by the commotion. They spoke to him in those careful, gentle voices, soft words meant to soothe. How dare they? Let's get you back to bed, Master Rowan. You're confused, sir. It's early yet. Perhaps after some breakfast. Be gone! His voice cracked. It was there. It's always there. Someone moved it. They tried to take his arms to guide him back, hands on his elbows, his shoulders. He shook them off, stumbling forward. The corridor stretched long before him, longer than it should be. When had the palace become so vast? The walls seemed to recede with each step, the distance expanding like something from a fever dream. His foot caught on uneven stone. His hands reached out but found nothing, just air and empty space. The floor rushed up to meet his face, cold and hard, stone against bone. Pain detonated through his hip, his temple, his shoulder, white hot, and immediate voices cried out above him, hands touching him. But Rowan wasn't looking at them. There, in the shadowed hollow where walnut floor, tucked beneath the skirts of a wooden bench, a dark damask rose. It grew from a crack in the stone, its petals black as obsidian. The stem had pushed up through solid granite as though the rock were soil. He hadn't seen one in so long, decades. Master Rowan, can you hear me? The voices seemed distant now. There was wetness spreading beneath him. Everything felt strange. The pain was fading, replaced by lightness. The rose blurred in his vision. Someone fetch the physician! Master Rowan, stay with us. Footsteps pounded down the corridor. A girl's voice broke through the others, young and trembling. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I moved it. I was going to. But Rowan couldn't hear her anymore. His eyes closed. Rowan opened his eyes. Grass beneath him, soft and cool blades tickled his palms. He lifted his hands and stared at them. Strong, steady, the hands of the fool he'd been a lifetime ago. He sat up. A meadow stretched around him, lush and wild, filled with flowers he had no names for. The sky above was neither day nor night, but something in between, golden and endless. The air smelled of growing things, of water and earth and green life. A bumblebee drifted past his face, unhurried and indifferent. Rowan turned. Behind him, a willow tree swayed in the wind. She stood beneath its branches exactly as she had that first night, those luminous eyes watching him. Her form shifted slightly, bark dissolving into skin as she stepped forward. Rowan stared at her, his lips parted, but no sound came. She stepped closer, shaking her head. "You carried my corpse around." His voice worked again. "The lightning. You should not be here." "Am I dead?" he asked. She gestured around them at the meadow, at the endless sky. The question seemed to dissolve into the air between them. "Do you feel dead?" "You know, She stopped, pressing her fingers to her lips as something like a chuckle escaped. She paused like that for a long moment before speaking. "I will tell you, the wind carried your music farther than you can imagine. You heard it." His voice was a breath. She nodded. "Please, tell me your name," he asked. She drifted closer, her fingers settling against his lips. He swallowed hard. Where she touched him, his lips tingled. "You may name me, if you like, but choose wisely, if you expect me to live within it." Rowan felt tears on his face. They ran hot down his cheeks. "The roses my friends grew for you." Her hands moved to rest over her chest. "Did you like them?" I loved them," he whispered. She took his hand, her skin warm, textured like soft bark, alive, her fingers laced through his. "You had to stop carrying the dead to see the living." Rowan looked back at the willow tree, its branches swaying in the breeze. The leaves rustled with a sound like music, like all the songs he'd ever played. Then back at her, this impossible woman. "I'm sorry, Hush, fool." She silenced him with a touch, her finger returning to his lips, her arm curling around his back until her face hovered inches from his own. In her amber eyes lived something beyond naming, flickers of light and shadow. He knew he should look away. He didn't. A flicker moved across her face, there and gone before it could be named. She drew back half an inch, then lifted her chin and blew an exhale across his face. Her smile still pulling at the corners of her mouth, making it come out crooked and warm. Her breath carried honeysuckle and rain, and beneath those, the scent of deep roots and dark earth. "I suppose." She left the sentence unfinished for a moment, her fingers drifting to her chin. "I suppose you honored me the only way a human knows how you are a stubborn fool." Her smile softened. "You humans miss the simplest things, but you carry a beauty that surprises, and you're here now. And we have time." She tugged his hand, pulling him toward the meadow, toward the endless green, away from the willow, away from everything he'd known. "Come, I want to show you all the places your music reached." Rowan followed, his fingers laced with hers, leaving the willow tree, and the old world behind his legs moved easily, without pain, without the tremor that had plagued his final years. The grass was soft beneath his feet. The breeze carried the scent of roses blooming in impossible places. And somewhere, in a palace corridor far away, a crumhorn lay abandoned on the ground next to a withering rose.